Pigweed here. Today we review a pumpkin ale and discuss some American short stories from the 1940s. Well, good evening,
All right,
oh, wait a minute.
Let's go
on. Longinus is here.
All right.
Very
How about
good.
some beer and conversation?
Oh, sure. That's a good idea. What's on your mind?
Well, a jilted bride.
Yes.
A chicken-killing dog.
Okay.
A bad tooth. And,
Yeah.
and a public stone.
I see. It must be time for PNC's shortcut to the classics.
It is, yes. All right, where we read great books by the world's great authors so long as there aren't too long.
Yeah, we don't have to do too long. So we've got a selection of short stories here.
Yep.
And today, Crow Hill has chosen The Lottery and Other Short Stories by Shirley Jackson.
Yes, the lottery stuck in my mind from reading it from high school.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I didn't, but...
Okay, but first we got to drink this beer.
Well, yes.
Yes, all right.
And it's a pumpkin ale. Why? Because it's Scary October.
It's Scary October.
And
Everything's pumpkin spice.
And I don't really like pumpkin ales, so
Yeah.
I thought if I could get one that's jacked up with booze and throw some caramel in there,
Okay.
maybe
you'll like it.
Maybe I'll like it.
So this is Southern Tier. It's
Yeah.
got a pretty spooky looking pumpkin creature on the cover there.
Right?
What do you think?
Ooh,
Get
this
in
thing
there.
smells good.
It does smell good.
Okay, well, I get the caramel.
Yeah.
and
8.6% alcohol by volume. Southern Tier, where are they? They're like not south. They're
It's
like
so
New
yes,
York or something.
exactly. They're in upstate New York,
Yeah,
even though
New
they're southern.
York, and they're Southern Tier. Okay.
Southern of somebody else. Southern, more south than Canada. Okay, that's good because
Ooh,
getting more
the
caramel.
caramel is pretty strong in there.
It is stronger than
Yeah.
the pumpkin spice, really.
Mhm.
Would you say
Interesting.
8.6?
8.6%.
Now,
by
and what's
volume.
interesting that they usually put when they put drink by dates, or they usually don't let them don't let it go on too long. You
Yeah.
know, look at that one there. That one gives you until
2027.
Yes.
Okay. Because it's 8.6, it'll sell.
yeah, no, it will. That's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it, kids.
Actually, maybe I should get a 6-pack and stick it down in the cellar just to see what it's like in 2027.
Right.
Put that on my Google
But
calendar.
I mean, usually they give you a year. They give you 2 years on this puppies. We're still going to get all of our caramel flavors. I
don't know. Well, that's a good question. But wouldn't that be a good thing to pop up in your, you put your tasks in your Google Calendar, and
Right.
all of a sudden it pops up. Hey, drink that imperial pumpkin caramel that's been cellaring for 5 years.
I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
So you put in your calendar, like, try absinthe or try this cocktail.
There you go. That's how you go.
And the other, and just the idea, like if you think of cellaring wines,
Yeah.
and you think beers need to be drunk fresh, and most of them do.
Yeah.
But people do have beer cellars for
Yeah.
these types of beers,
Yeah.
and I should probably do more of that.
I do.
Do you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, you found a keg that you didn't know you had the other day.
Yeah, well, that was a different thing. But I have about 15 beers down there. Various,
I got
that kind
4
of
over
stuff.
here. But
Yeah. All right. So what are we talking
So
about?
Shirley Jackson, we'll do a small little bio here. Born in California, San Francisco, 1916, but went to Syracuse in 1940, married her husband and stayed in Vermont, or in the East, but in Vermont, and died there in 1965. And I don't have a lot more bio stuff, actually.
Well, one thing that was interesting is that her husband was a literary critic.
Yes, well, that must have been fun to have around.
Yeah, right.
Criticizing
Exactly. That latest thing you wrote, come on, Shirley.
Yeah, I know. I've read bathroom novels.
I know. I've read
than
better stuff than that.
Although she was the more successful and she was the breadwinner, but he managed the finances because it is 1940.
40. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
And this collection here, The Lottery and Other Stories, published in 1949. 25 short stories, all of them pretty much written in the 40s.
Okay.
The Lottery in 48. This thing comes out in 49. So,
Well, what else was she known for? I mean, she didn't just write short stories.
no. Some of her novels, I don't know how many.
The Haunted House on the Hill was
Haunted
one
House
of
on
them.
the Hill,
and
yes.
that was very, very eerie and scary, as they say.
That's what they
Okay.
say.
And Stephen King absolutely loved it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Oh,
Right.
what
He
a-
knows a little bit about scary stories.
All right,
Yeah.
right. So what does Stephen say on the back here, by the way? So
The horror story says it's okay to join the mob, to become the total tribal being, to destroy the outsider. It has never been done better or more literally than in Shirley Jackson's short story, The Lottery.
All right, but kids, you're going to have to wait. We're going to do that one
We'll
last.
get that one later. Yeah.
So, before we discuss these stories, like I pointed out, it's October, the scary month,
Right.
and each year we try to read something scary. This is our 5th year, gentlemen.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
and
cheers.
what are the first 4?
Oh,
First 4 scary October works that on the P&C show.
wow.
I think number 1 is Frankenstein,
Yeah,
Mary
we did
Shelley.
Frankenstein, yeah.
Poe.
Poe.
Oh,
Did appear
definitely
Poe one
We
year.
actually even went to visit Poe's grave.
Oh, I got it.
Poe's
Yeah,
great
Poe.
and Poe's house.
H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Very good.
And wasn't it Stephen King?
And
And
we did
Stephen
Stephen King. So
King.
those are our
Very
previous
good,
4.
very
And
good.
here we are, number 5. So I asked so there's 25 stories in this.
Yeah.
Rather than reading all 25 and deciding which is the scariest, what do you do these days? Yes, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And this ChatGPT was spot on.
Yeah.
It's Shirley Jackson's The Lottery and Other Stories is a collection where the horror is often quiet, domestic, and psychological rather than supernatural.
Yeah.
Many readers find different stories, quote, scary, depending on what unsettles them most. But here are the stories most often cited as the darkest or most disturbing.
Okay.
I thought that was nailed it.
That's good,
So I
yeah.
say, so think about this. We're not looking for scary. We're looking for unsettling, dark, or
Yeah.
disturbing. How's
Yes.
that?
So there was she had a different way of approaching making something scary.
Yeah.
It was like unease more than
Yes.
than scary. It was what's going on? Why is this happening to this person? Or
Right.
or wondering about somebody's motives or what exactly is going on. So
right.
it was a different kind of scary, but interesting. Yeah.
She had the ability to sort of expose the banality of evil in everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and she does extraordinarily.
And I think. Well, so we're going to work our way backwards from the Flower Garden, number 6, and I think there is some of the banality of evil going on here. So,
Yeah.
well, interesting.
That one was Longinus's favorite. So
All right,
yeah.
but what's the name? They're like 2 Mrs. Winsomes or whatever her name is.
Winnings.
Winnings.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's, and they kept saying Mrs. Winning, and it could be either of them.
Well,
you had
it
to
was-
kind of
it was-
work your
there
way
was
around.
The young one and her mother-in-law,
Yes.
the older one. Yeah, right.
So
yeah.
anyway,
One
anyway.
that's established and one that is working to be established.
Right.
But the question is, established as what?
Yes.
So here we are in New England. Right?
Yeah. And
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And the younger Mrs. Winning, she married into the family.
Yes,
And she's
she's
trying
the
to
in-law.
become part. They were like the most important family in the town.
Like the oldest family.
The
oldest
generations in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's trying to become part of that patristic, group of living up to the family name and all that.
And she was always hoping that she'd move into the cottage across the street.
Yes. Yeah. So the cottage is just this pleasant little cottage, has a lot of room for a garden.
Needs a little work.
Needs a little work, yeah. And she lives in a mansion up on top of the hill.
Yeah, so that's sort of the background and the story, as all these settings and plots go, they're very simple.
Yeah.
She's there, and all of a sudden, this cottage that she loved, a woman who just lost her husband and a little boy moves in, and she's so excited to see what she's doing. The McLean, Mrs. McLean. And so she
She's
goes
just delighted.
and makes friends with her.
Right.
And
Totally.
just loves what she's doing with the house. Oh my God, I would put up yellow curtains there. Oh my God, I would paint the
Yes.
kitchen.
And she goes in
this
there.
color.
Did you paint the kitchen yellow? Oh my gosh, you did.
Right.
Fantastic. And I bet, and she, and because of the trees on her side, she can't really have a lovely garden because it's too shaded. But this is perfect for a lovely garden. And Mrs. McLean cannot wait because she moves in like at the end of winter. At the beginning of spring, and can't wait to have a fantastic garden.
And their children, their boys, are both about the same age.
the
so
same
they
age.
They can play together. So that's
Howard
that's
and-
a thing,
and-
right.
So they become fast friends,
Right.
right? Until Mrs. McLean does the big mistake.
And doesn't even realize it. She just sees
no understanding of it.
a little half-colored kid.
Yeah. So she's kind to this half-breed kid who is first thing she says is, "Look how beautiful that boy is."
And yes, she just loves his skin and his hair, and she just thinks he's adorable. And they find out, well, his mother is white, but she left with a white man. They mention, and he just lives there with his dad.
And the older Mrs. Winning is like, "You told her about them, didn't you?" You know, as if that should settle everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Right. And they don't live in town. They live just outside of town.
And she's from the city.
Right.
But now, after her husband's gone, is looking for a little domestic life in the country, and this seems perfect. And she sees was Billy? Is that his name?
Billy's her son, yeah. No. Billy is the half black boy. Right?
Yes. Right. And says, his dad works really hard. Why don't I give him a little job helping me in the garden, because I could use some help, and then he'd get a little bit of change.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with that is you're not supposed to be associating with those kind of people.
But Mrs. Winning doesn't think there's anything is not worried about it.
Yeah. Well,
the young Mrs. Winning.
She's torn. It's kind of obvious that she's not completely on board with her mother-in-law, but she kind of has to go in that direction in order to be the person that she wants to be.
And so they've been going to the store sort of every day. It's like a standard thing. As I walk by your house, we go together to the store, and that's kind of like a big deal the day that she decides to not go by.
Yeah, and that's right after she hires the black man to come start working.
Right, so the dad's like, he's a little boy who really should just be playing and having fun. Yeah, I don't think he needs to have a job. I'll do that work for you.
That's right. Yep.
And I don't know, everything seems to be going just fine. Or does it?
Yeah. Except the town just doesn't approve of this. They don't approve of the black guy. They don't approve of the kid. And
for no other reason.
We don't know anything. I think, well, there was some implication about there being something maybe behind it, but
and working with his shirt off and goes in the house at lunchtime.
Right. Well,
that's about it as far as
the black man's not treated as a black man. The black man's treated as kindly,
as a regular guy.
Yeah. Come on in, have some lemonade with it. Make sure your boy comes over. He can play with Davey.
Right, have him play with my son. Yeah. And so little by little, Mrs. Whitting realizes, to maintain my place in this town, maybe I need to distance myself from Mrs. McLean. Yeah. And the storm comes through and messes up the garden. And she's just like,
okay, is this it? So she eventually, they're friends, and they've been doing everything together for a long time. And then eventually, Mrs. McLean invites Mrs. Whitting in to say, what has happened here? Yeah. And she says, Shirley, I don't know what you're talking about.
There's great quotes. Let me see if I can find it.
And then and then we have the storm, and a big limb lands on top of the garden and messes up a bunch of the bushes, and she's like, maybe this wasn't meant to be, and I should just go back to the city.
Right. Yeah, kind of like that. Go ahead. What do you got there?
All right, let's see if. Okay, we'll start here. All right, so this is after. So Mrs. McLean actually confronts Miss Winning, Mother Winning, and says, "What's going on?" And Miss Winning has been holding herself stiff in readiness for some such question, and when she said, "I don't know what you mean," she thought, "I sound exactly like Mother Winning," and realized, I'm enjoying this. Just as she would. And no matter what she thought of herself, she was unable to keep from adding, "Is something wrong?" "Of course," Miss McLean said. She stared at the blue bowl and said slowly. Now, this is all after Miss McLean asked young Miss Winning, why everybody was so nice to me for such a long time, and now everybody's just giving me the cold shoulder. So what's the deal? And then what I love about it is they're talking, and then Miss McLean brings up the fact is it because I hired a black person? Right. And and then Miss Winning goes, This is dreadful, Miss Winning thought. This is childish. This is complaining. People treat you as you treat them, she thought. She wanted desperately to go over and take Mrs. McLean's hand and ask her to come back and be one of the nice people again. Mm-hmm. But she only sat straighter in the chair and said, I'm sure you must be mistaken. I've never heard anyone speak of it. Yeah. So it's the unspoken ritual of like
hiding the
idea that you should not be nice to black people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on now. So did you, where do we find that in the unsettling, dark, or disturbing that we're looking for?
Well, just the fact that your neighbors could be harboring nasty suspicions and feelings about you that you don't really even understand.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's very Shirley Jackson. That the looming evil amongst the polite society.
The unarticulated ideas of culture of such things as how races should treat each other,
and just the idea that Mrs. McLean had no idea that somebody was going to think ill of her because she hired somebody to work in her garden. Yeah.
Okay, now we move on to the tooth. So we have Clara Spencer, and she's just, I don't know how far she lives from New York City, but she feels like
she's a ways because the bus stops like twice.
Yeah. Right. Maybe 3 times. They're like, I'm not going to that butcher in town. I've got a sear, and the husband is there going, yeah, you got to go. And so she's all jacked up on codeine and is going to take a bus overnight, get there in the morning, I think, and then go see the dentist. And
have you taken you've taken a long bus ride? Yeah, they stop like every 2.5, 3 hours at places where you can get a Coke or go to the bathroom.
And they tell you 15 minutes.
Right. Yeah. So in this story, they stop like 2 or 3 times at least. So it was a fairly long bus trip.
But she can't. But every place seems the same. It's like a Twilight Zone-y feeling. Like each time she goes into a diner, it's like the same food, same cup of coffee.
Well, and then she's all drugged up on codeine and
lack of sleep.
And this tooth hurts. Yeah.
Right. And sleeping pills, too.
Sleeping pills.
And this crazy guy Jim just shows up.
And then there's a Jim.
And so one thing that I thought was interesting was, where is this one? When Jim shows up, he mentions some strange city where he's from. And I looked it up, and it's Uzbekistan. It's some city in Uzbekistan that this guy's from. Like,
so you're even wondering,
when do you have people from Uzbekistan in 1940s New York? But,
right. So right, and is it just like is it her misunderstanding of what's going on, or is he mythological because he keeps showing up?
Is he part of her imagination? It's hard to know. Yeah.
So what? So she finally she takes a while. It's quite an adventure for her. She gets on a bus, passes the street, has to come back.
But she finally gets her tooth taken out.
Yes.
And then when she walks out of the surgeon, Jim is there, and they go off together.
Right. Well, before that, yes, that's true. But before that happens, there's this progressive losing of her identity. She goes into the bathroom and she looks in the mirror and she's like, "Which face is mine?"
Right. Hold on, but before that, to me, in hospital settings, you just become your ailment. Mm. I feel like, how like in the nurses' station, they're like, all right, in 101 we got the gout, and 102 we've got a broken femur, 103, right? You are the thing. And so she's just like carrying around this note that says, like abscess tooth. Like you stop becoming a person, and you just become your ailment.
Patient number 12.
Or not, but not even that. Like what your affliction is. Like you are your affliction.
So this crazy guy Jim, he says, even farther than Samarkand, and the waves ringing on the shore like bells, and he keeps bringing up these weird things.
Yes.
And so it makes me wonder, like, who is this Jim guy? Is he supposed to be a real character, or is he part of her imagination? And I think her loss of identity starts with her relationship with Jim, because she goes into the restaurant to get some food, to get a cup of coffee or whatever, and he's always watching out for her.
Yeah.
And then at one point, it's like, you can't sleep, put your head on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Now, when is that going to happen? Some woman is going to get on a bus and put her head on some stranger's shoulder to go to sleep. That's.
I mean, right, and sort of lifting up and looking at it from a bird's eye view, is it that she's in this life, she's a mother, she's a housewife, she's taking care of everything. At the beginning of the story, she's so concerned about her husband. Okay, Mrs. So-and-so is going to come over and she's going to make you breakfast. She's going to do this and that. Please make sure the
cleaner's going to come by and pick up the shirts. And,
The milkman needs to drop off eggs, and so she's all doing that.
You know what that all reminded me of when I read that? There's this building downtown that I used to work in, that before it was an office building was a gentleman's apartment building. And the gentleman's apartment building all the suites, they didn't have kitchens, because it was expected that none of the men would cook.
Right.
That all of them would go to the common restaurant in the building, or they'd go to some other place to cook. So back in the 1940s, there was much more of an expectation. Men do these things and women do these things, and the men just they don't even know how to feed themselves if the woman.
So the question is, so she's all drugged up.
Yeah.
And she's starting to lose her identity.
Right.
And she meets this character Jim, and we don't know as the reader if Jim is actually real or imaginary.
Parts of it seems like unbelievable, that he's just always around.
The idea, so the question is Jim sort of like her subconscious or her fantasies coming to the forefront? Is like, oh my God, I could be because Jim's always talking about how beautiful these places are. Oh, it was a beautiful place with sand, and the sand was always warm even at night and things like that. Yeah. So is it her sort of like, oh my gosh, the idea that she's in this housewife sort of compartmentalized life, and her fantasies of breaking out to freedom is the thing that Jim sort of represents.
Could be. So you're saying she's after the tooth is out. What is wrong with her? She's got her stocking is bothering her because there's a hole in the toe.
Well, not just that. There was a tear in the stocking and a hole in the toe. So the stockings weren't any good. She had to take those off, and
then she looks in the bathroom mirror with a bunch of women.
She also had a barrette. That had her name on it. And she took that out and dropped it in the cup. I thought that was a very telling lack of identity. That she was losing these things that identified her.
And they couldn't tell herself from any of the other women in this bathroom. And then
you know what that reminds me of? One of my daughters was telling me why what are those books with the vampires and the werewolves and the Twilight series? That the reason those books appeal to so many people is the main female character is like nothing. She's so nondescript. She's so any woman that
any woman can put herself in the place. Any woman
can put herself in her place when she reads it, and that's in a way that's what the main character in this story is becoming. She's kind of becoming the any woman, and we
don't get the
sense she's becoming the 50s woman that is now grasping for her freedom and individuality outside of what she was supposed to be doing.
Or or the drugs and the everything else are just like pushing her into that.
Right. But the drugs are pushing her into that, but at the same time the drugs are sort of the catalyst to help her find her fantasy, her freedom.
But in the end, she doesn't get on the bus and go home.
Where does she go? I don't know.
Okay, 7 floors below, oblivious of the people who stepped sharply along the sidewalk, not noticing their occasional curious glances. Her hand in Jim's and her hair down on her shoulders, she ran barefoot through hot sand.
There she goes.
Hot sand. He was talking the hot sands of Uzbekistan.
Yeah, exactly. Here she's in New York, and now she ran barefoot through hot sand. Right.
All right. Well, that was good. That's interesting. All right. So the witch is the shortest one. It's
that was one of my favorites.
It's only 6 pages, and it's about it's a brief train ride. A mom and her son.
Yeah.
And a dude.
Right. Her mom and her son shows up. They're sitting down, and then this guy shows up and starts talking to the son and tells a story of
how he killed his sister.
How he killed his sister. And, of course, the mom is absolutely appalled.
Yeah.
And he gets up and in a very nice, cordial way, says good day and leaves.
Yeah. But
and it's like,
he says, I bought her a rocking horse and a doll and 1,000,000 lollipops. And then I took her and I put my hands around her neck and I pinched her until she was dead.
Right.
So the mom doesn't mind the little boy talking to this nice guy who seems to, and he tells
this horrible tale. And the thing
the boy's fat. But the boy, of course, the boy's just fascinated. Right?
He's laughing. He's
laughing.
He loves.
He's a boy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, at the end of the day, when was that written? 48, 49,
Yeah.
50 or something like that? 48. This is right after World War II and right after the atrocities of Germany and Hitler come to light. And the fact is that now people are starting to realize that, there's the prison guard that, flipped a switch to the gas chambers, and then he goes home to his family and does all the colored things and reads the nice little books that put the kids to bed and all that kind of stuff.
But the kids are... kids are fascinated with scary, gory stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, a mom doesn't want her kid to do it, but he is totally engaged. And after
he's engaged, just like the guy was telling him fart jokes.
Right. And then I took and I cut her head off. And I took her head. He goes, did you cut it all to pieces? Well, yeah, I cut her head and her hands and her feet and her hair and her nose. And then I hit her with a stick and I killed her. And the mother's like, what? He's so mad about the whole thing. And he says, yeah, your little sister? He says, yeah, my little sister. I put her head in a cage with a bear, and the bear ate it all up. Ate her head up? So the kid's not horrified.
Yeah.
The mother is horrified.
Yes. Right.
Which goes back to when we were talking before about fairy tales and how so many times the kids aren't horrified by the fairy tales. It's the adults who are horrified by the fairy tales.
But right. But so I'm is she saying in that then that we're all screwed because human nature is
that the kid that we are so
depraved.
Jaded.
Well, what's the horror?
That we're not horrified by horror.
Well,
yes.
the horror element is that this guy feels very comfortable to come tell this kid that he cut his sister's head off and then did terrible things to her, and the kid loved it.
Well,
that's the horror.
I think the horror element is a little different. I think the horror element is you're trying to raise this kid to be a decent kid, to be innocent, all this other kind of stuff, and there's all these things out in the world that are going to put these horrible ideas in your kid's head, and you have no control over that. That just suddenly, on a train, some apparently nice guy is going to put these horrible, nasty ideas in your child's head and ruin the innocence that you've tried to, tried to raise.
But isn't
it's the same thing?
Isn't some of the horror the fact that the child is not horrified?
Right.
Okay.
But he just
right,
turned.
he
goes. The man says, "Did I frighten you?" And the boy laughed and he turned to his mom and he said, "This man cut up his little sister." Like, I got something to share on show and tell.
So the horror. So you could say the horror is a few things. The horror is the kid being exposed to this stuff.
Yes.
The kid liking this stuff.
Yes. The mother's horror of seeing
Yes. And the fact that this otherwise seemingly decent, nice man would do such a thing.
Yes. Right. Very good. All right. How about the Renegade? So on this one, this was upsetting. So on this one, it was we'll get to it. So this woman,
Oh yeah.
yes,
with the dog.
gets a call saying I thought in the beginning she gets a call that her dog has killed some chickens.
Yeah.
And I thought what was going to be was this false accusation and her having to defend and how that's good. But it kind of worked as it goes along. It's like, yeah, that's it. The dog did kill the kid, and everybody's got remedies. Like, so what? And the woman's like, well, she's like, what do you want me to do?
How do I cure it?
And Chicken Lady's like, what do you mean?
You can't cure this. You can't. Once the dog gets a taste of chicken, the dog's got a taste of chicken.
So what do I do?
Kill
You
the
shoot
dog.
it. You shoot the dog.
I mean, that's all, what are you talking about?
And a bunch of the men in town tell her these silly stories just to make fun of her.
They do just make fun of, but they all understand the same thing. They all sort of have concluded. They go, right, like, oh yeah, sure, you can fix that.
Yeah.
You can hang a bone around his neck, and you can do. But no, seriously, you're gonna have to kill the dog.
Yeah.
And everybody, and then the word gets around so fast. I think that's part of like the small townness of the whole thing. That by the time the kids come home,
well, the whole time, she's horrified.
Yeah.
Not so much the prospect of killing the dog, but by the prospect of having to tell the kids that she's going to kill the dog.
Right.
You know, that the dog has to be killed. She's thinking more of the impact of killing the dog on her kids and on her family.
Right.
But the funny thing is that all gets turned on its head because the kids are like,
kind of matter of factly, right?
yeah, so you're going to have to kill the dog.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard? Everybody's talking about it.
Well, it goes back to the last short story we talked about, right? The witch, you know. Yeah, the kids weren't too worried about
Yeah,
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know how it is. So the looming specter of having, and nobody's taking their dog down to the vet.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
they're talking about shooting the
Yes,
dog.
we know that there's this. So what do? You take a dead chicken and you let it die, and then you smell so bad that you hang it around the dog's neck and you force him to
run around with this dead chicken around his neck.
So you're saying that nobody really takes that seriously.
No, I don't think so.
You think they're just joshing?
I think they were just kidding, playing.
They're like, yeah,
I think you're right.
No, seriously, we know what's going on here. And you put them on a really long chain, and the woman doesn't want to do this. But to me, it's just. Well, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm not sure if she meant it this way. But the 21st century sensibility, we're a little more sensitive about these things.
Yeah.
Knowing that the thing that has to be done is shooting your own dog.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is, remember, I mean, from our perspective now.
Yeah. I think it's more horrifying now than it probably was in 1948.
Well, and the thing is, you wouldn't let your dog run free. Right? So there's the whole thing is back in those days, you open the door and the dog would go out and do the thing and then come back at the evening.
Right.
I mean, it's funny. My mother used to tell stories that her dog, the bus would stop off in front of the house, the bus door would open, and her dog would get off the bus and come back to the house. And this was small town Bartlesville, Oklahoma. So the idea of this dog running around, that's not going to change. It's like, well, yeah, I guess you could chain it up, and that was considered.
They didn't seem like much of an option for some reason.
Yeah. And now it's like I walked
now
out.
Dogs are like in the family portrait. Back then, they didn't even come in the house.
Right.
That's right.
I guess it was a year ago. This poor woman had the dog out there, and the dog took a crap out in my front yard,
right.
And she didn't have a bag,
right.
And she was all apologetic. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's shit.
But I do think the prospect back then, the prospect of having to shoot a dog when you're accustomed to killing chickens and killing cows, and all, it's like, okay. You might have to shoot the dog.
Yeah.
I don't think they were quite as attached.
No. I think you're completely. I mean, dog, like I was saying, like dog is now family. Like he's like the brother and the sister.
Mm-hmm.
Where back then,
people leave their estates to dogs.
Then what?
Let me ask you this question, right? Because the Walpoles, the family of that, didn't grow up in that country town. they're a
true.
transplant again, right? I mean, like every family is almost a transplant in here, right?
Yeah.
So they're coming from the city. Which they probably have a different
City folk.
City folk.
Like they've got a big deal with killing the dog. Yeah, sometimes you just got to kill a dog.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd forgotten that. You're right. They were transplants. So everybody was joking with them. You think it's such a big deal. You just need to kill the dog. Oh, you think you're going to cure it? Oh, sure. Here's this silly cure.
Yeah. Have you ever been a young man who has had too much to drink and you're lying around on a Saturday and watch Sounder?
Did you cry?
Yeah. You got to take the dog.
Sounder.
Oh, jeez. What's Old Yeller?
Old Yeller.
Oh, jeez. Make it stop.
Where the red fern grows. Oh my God! I must have read 10 different dog stories to. Oh my God, it was great. I mean, I was more into it than the poor kid.
Right. Again, which sounds like these stories. It's like it's more like the parents are more concerned about the horror than the kids.
The kids are.
Yeah,
all right. So what do we got?
So now I like this one, the Daemon Lover.
Yeah, which is funny. Not what you think it is.
No, it's even a weird spelling.
Yeah.
So I don't think she has a name. She's a fiancée, and she is fussing about her apartment.
And getting ready.
And getting ready and getting unready and changing her dress. And the dress is not right and sewing it and making it fit and going back to the previous dress. So she's very nervous about this occasion.
She's expecting her guy to come by today because they're supposed to go and get married.
Yes.
That day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
it's the big day.
Big day for her.
She's so fussy about it. And he doesn't show up. And okay, so this is the thing I wanted to say about her writing, kind of big picture.
Big picture.
What's the difference between reading a story and watching a story in a movie?
Okay.
But the big difference cognitively is that when you're watching a story, a lot of the work is done for you.
Right.
They've painted the picture. You see what the characters look like. You see where when you're reading a story, your brain has to do all that work.
Yes.
Your brain has to create the images.
Right. What's Shirley doing?
Yeah. So what Shirley's doing is taking that to the next level, which is not only are you getting the cognitive work of reading versus watching, you're also getting the cognitive work of she's not explaining a lot of what's going on.
I see.
She's leaving a lot of things hidden or unexplained for you to be figuring out. Why is this woman obsessing? Why isn't the guy showing up on time? Why isn't, so you're doing a lot of work in the background trying to figure out what in the heck is going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight out of Hemingway. How it should be. I mean, Hemingway was the master of that, right? Just here it is.
Right.
The iceberg theory where, your story is 1/7 of the iceberg, and then you're thinking about it is 7/7 of it underneath the water.
However fractions work. So, like you write a story and then strip everything, strip all the description out.
Yeah.
And expect the reader
to do the work,
which is fine. So she's drinking too much coffee, and finally she's like, all right, why did she decide to go down to the street?
So maybe he was down there.
And then she starts asking around. Is that how?
That's right. So she goes on a quest to try to find the guy.
There's a shoe shine guy, there's a florist. Yeah. These are things that he might have done on the way over.
Yeah.
Right?
And this was another quaint detail. There's a lot of interesting old-fashioned-y details in here. Like the party line in one of the stories.
I know, I love that.
Milk being left on the doorstep in one of the stories. In this one, he wears a blue suit. Like back in those days, you only had a couple of sets of clothing. So if you had a blue suit, you were always the guy in the blue suit.
Right. So when people are responding, they're like, "Well, yeah, I mean,
I might have.
There probably was a guy.
Yes,
it's New York. It's a Sunday. I mean, people probably saw.
There's probably 100 guys walk by who were tall in a blue suit,
who bought flowers, who bought a newspaper, who got a shoe shine.
Yes.
And so you don't ever know if people don't remember, when they say they do, I got a sense that the little kid was just joshing.
Yeah.
Are they joshing, or are they going, probably? And,
right.
And
the little kid wanted a quarter or something.
Yeah. So then they actually found a location that he might have gone up
Right.
into.
And she went up into that house and thought
now maybe there's
sure,
some sort of an affair situation going on.
So
right?
she thought for sure she heard voices laughing back behind this door. But what's interesting to me about this story is what you're assuming the whole time versus she never explicitly says it. But what you're assuming the whole time is this guy used her, said, I love you, I'll marry you.
Yes.
And then just, went off and got another girl.
Yes.
Well, right.
Well, go ahead.
Or he was never
real.
Or he was never real.
Yeah, I got the feeling that she's a little kooky.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, yes, are we talking about jilted bride or just like a so she's like in her early 30s,
Yeah.
right? Like borderline spinster.
Yeah.
Worried about and having manufactured in her head
Yeah.
this
30,
this wedding day.
30 is a really important year in the life of a woman.
Even today, but let's talk about 1948.
Yeah, even more important then. But even today, women around, when they get to be around 30, they start thinking, I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
And, how come I don't have any kids?
Yes, and guys who are looking for women with kids, I'm kind of past the threshold a little bit.
Yeah.
And so my feeling was, I thought Rod Serling was going to come out and say, a jilted bride is seeking for her husband.
Right.
Or did her husband only exist
In her
in the Twilight Zone? You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It was like,
It could be
it got that
right.
kind of vibe. Like at the end, I'm like, is she really jilted, or is she just a little kooky?
Right. Yeah. Right.
So that would fall under the unsettling / disturbing, but not dark, but
Yes.
qualifies.
Now,
Are you ready? Are you ready for the big one?
Let me just say about the big one. Everybody out there has read The Lottery.
Yeah.
You might not remember it. You might not have liked
You
it.
said high school. Mine was freshman year community college.
No,
Mine was high school.
I
Yours
remember.
was high school?
I can
Okay.
picture in my mind the room I was sitting in when I read
Yep.
that
And
story.
it's 7 pages, 10 pages, depending on where.
I just remember being absolutely appalled. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the F is it? Why? This is a dumb story,
Yeah.
So
So
you're-
it's into.
All
It's,
right,
so
here
it's,
we go. It's the last story.
it's sort of like the Hunger Games. It's sort of like the Hunger Games.
yes.
So it's the concept of a village believes that if they do this sacrifice, then I jumped to the end.
never said
So,
They never
all right,
say
so,
that.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
so it's the morning of June 27th. So I understand. I understand there are places that have there are like
Spring festivals.
festivals and stuff that celebrate the June 27th Lottery Day. And if I ever hear of one, I'm going. But so school is just out. There's only 300. The children are assembled. There's like a party vibe going, like a town bustling because there's a town event, and it's a small town of only.
The boys are collecting stones and putting them in
Well,
piles.
they're just ne'er-do-wells,
doing it,
right?
right,
These ne'er-do-wells, you don't know why they're collecting stones, but it's excellent foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Everybody's
but you don't-
playing their part.
But you don't worry about this pile of stones. I mean, it's just kids doing what they do.
Yeah.
And then people start to gather, and then they start talking about there's a little bit of history involved, like where the box is kept, the lottery box.
And it was an ancient box, and they hadn't kept it up. It was like falling apart. And the paint was
but they
bad.
used to use like wood chips.
Yeah.
Now they've gone to paper ballots, and you don't know why everybody's gathering, but it's a very people are in their Sunday best and bringing cakes.
But I remember, I can't find it right this second, but I remember there were references early on to the idea of some relationship between the lottery and the crops doing well. And other towns saying...
Okay, well, that's interesting. I didn't get that, but that would make sense.
Well, other towns have lotteries too.
Yeah.
And other towns...
And some had gotten rid of it.
So now you get... And some towns are so big that it takes 2 days, but this town only has 300 people. It only takes 2 hours to do the whole thing. You're like, okay, I mean, everything seems okay, and the people are griping, that's not going to go very well for them. Those towns that have decided to give up on their lotteries.
I got the quote for you.
Okay,
Bring it.
They do say, Mr. Adams said to old man Warner, who stood next to him, that over in North Village, they're talking of giving up the lottery. Old man Warner snorted. Pack of crazy fools, he said. Listening to the young folks, nothing's good enough for them. Yep. Next thing you know, they'll be wanting to go back to living in caves. Nobody work anymore. Live that way for a while. Used to be saying about lottery in June, corn be heavy soon.
Right.
First thing you know, we'd all be eating stewed chickweed and acorns. There's always been a lottery, he added petulantly. Bad enough to see young Joe Summers up there joking with everybody.
Right. Yeah, so I highlighted this.
Right.
It used to be a saying, lottery in June, corn be heavy soon. It's this direct relationship. It's like the corn god.
Oh, it did. All right. Yeah, a little bit like Aztec sacrifice kind of a thing to make sure the sun rises. So, so what's the deal? So you first, the head of the household draws for the family.
Right. Which has interesting biblical references, by the way. They did something similar in the book of Joshua, but anyway.
You want to do it?
Now, when they were trying to figure out who did the bad deed, they had to draw by tribes and then by families and then, finding out who it was.
Okay.
So, the same kind of thing here.
So then who's the Hutchinsons?
Yeah.
So it's gets narrowed down to the Hutchinson. Now, Mrs. Hutchinson seems to be concerned that this thing isn't being done properly.
Wasn't fair, because you didn't give him a chance to reach in there and... He didn't get a chance.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Didn't give him a chance. Everybody saw it.
But however, the people in the family, nobody else complained except for Tessie, except for the mom. Everybody else was like, "Well, this is
the way it goes.
This is how it goes." Yep. So then, once you've narrowed it down to the family, then each of the family members
draw.
Now, and don't forget,
even little Davy, the 4-year-old, or whatever. But he can't do it himself. You have to hold the little.
Nobody gets to be from this, and they're like, "What about this daughter?" No. Married daughters draw with their family, with their married families. Like everybody knows the rules here, Tess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it turns out it isn't fair. It isn't fair.
And then Tess gets...
When Tessie Hutchinson...
Gets the one with the black dot.
Gets the black dot, and no family members, no town members, nobody runs to your aid.
No.
I mean, it's just understood.
They pick up stones.
It isn't fair, she said. A stone hit her on the side of the head. Yeah.
And then, and then old man Warner says... Come on, everyone! And everybody picked up. It isn't fair. It isn't right. Screamed Mrs. Hutchinson, and they were appalled.
Yeah, and it's horrible.
I love this where it says, Mrs. Delacroix selected a stone so large she had to pick it up with both hands and turned to Mrs. Dunbar. Come on, she said. Hurry up.
Yeah. Isn't there a scene in the Life of Brian where they do a stoning?
Yeah.
Probably.
Where people are picking up stones and then they bring this really great thing. It's just, the whole thing is awful.
But it really, there's no wonder that it is her Grand Slam and that it was such a huge hit. And for all the reasons that we've talked about, the underlying normality of the horror, the banality of evil.
Yes.
And
we've just come to accept it. It's just normal. This is just what you do.
And a little bit of attack on blind tradition, the idea that you don't need any other explanation other than we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
And so there's a little of that.
Blind tradition, right? Blind tradition.
I'm a big fan of tradition, but maybe you could check the motivations and do we really need to be doing this every once in a while?
And the thing is, a fish doesn't know he's wet. Right. And when you live in this environment, you don't know that what you're doing is as bad as it is.
Yeah.
You've just grown up with that. That's the soup you swim in, and that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
And
is that. So what?
So the idea that we inherit a culture that has negative tendencies
awful,
as well as very positive tendencies.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do we parse those out and move forward?
Yeah.
I think,
Right.
But I don't think she's picking on anything in particular.
No.
Just the general idea of
a bunch of corn.
maybe you
Right.
yeah, and superstitious beliefs, which is that the stoning brings in good harvest,
Right.
and
you think about it, like you said, 48, 49 when
Yeah.
this would, right? So that's right after World War
Yes.
II. That's right at the beginning of the Cold War. That's
I
the
think
atrocities of Hitler are starting to come out.
which were perfectly normal, educated, cultured people.
Yeah.
Making horrifying decisions.
Yes.
The German culture is great, except for Hitler, right?
and sleeping well at night. I mean, I know it was the most cultured and educated place in Europe.
Yeah.
And guess what? It could produce something like that. I think
Berlin was like the most liberal city in the 1920s of the world.
There's this quote by C.S. Lewis, which I'm going to mangle if I try to get it exactly right. But the bottom line of it is, we think of evil as something done in street corners and back alleys and all that.
Right.
And he says, no, the most serious evil is done by well-dressed men sitting in nicely appointed boardrooms who don't have to raise their voice.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I think there's some of that going on in this horrifying lottery of 10 pages that most high schoolers never forget.
Yeah.
And that's why it just rings so true with every generation.
Yeah,
it's great.
So
she's absolutely a jewel.
It is
jewel of American culture.
It's a different approach to horror.
Yeah,
there's no blood.
Yeah.
There's. Not much.
Most of you're right. Your main characters are decent, upright people.
Yeah.
And
there's nobody's coming out with great big claws on their hands or anything.
Right.
It's just normal, everyday evil.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun, and yes, there we go. Happy Halloween.
All right.
All right.
Happy Halloween. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.